How stress affects the body. Our bodies are designed to cope with short bursts of stress, but when stress persists over a long period, it can lead to significant and harmful effects on the body. Musculoskeletal system. When a person experiences stress, the muscles naturally tighten. This tightening happens almost automatically and is the body's protective response against possible injury or pain. During short term stress, muscles contract quickly and then relax once the stressful situation ends. However, with long term or chronic stress, muscles often remain partially contracted for extended periods, keeping the body in a constant state of tension. Prolonged muscle tightness can lead to additional physical reactions and may contribute to stress related health problems. For instance, chronic tension in the neck, shoulders, and head is commonly linked to tension headaches and migraines. Stress, particularly work related stress, has also been associated with pain in the lower back and upper limbs. Many people experience long lasting pain caused by musculoskeletal disorders, sometimes triggered by an initial injury. Whether an injury develops into chronic pain often depends on how a person responds to it. Individuals who fear pain or re-injury and focus solely on a physical explanation and cure tend to recover more poorly than those who stay moderately active under medical guidance. Ongoing muscle tension, along with muscle weakening from lack of use, can worsen chronic, stress-related musculoskeletal problems. Stress management strategies, such as relaxation techniques and therapeutic activities, have been shown to reduce muscle tension, lower the occurrence of stress-related conditions like headaches, and enhance overall well-being. For people living with chronic pain, these stress relief practices can also improve mood and support better daily functioning. The respiratory system delivers oxygen to the body's cells and eliminates carbon dioxide as a waste product. Air enters through the nose, passes the larynx in the throat, travels down the trachea, and moves into the lungs through the bronchi. Inside the lungs, smaller airways called bronchioles allow oxygen to enter the bloodstream by attaching to red blood cells for transport throughout the body. Stress and intense emotions can affect breathing by causing the airways between the nose and lungs to narrow, leading to symptoms such as rapid breathing or a feeling of breathlessness. In people without lung conditions, this usually does not cause serious problems because the body can adjust to the increased breathing effort. However, in individuals with existing respiratory illnesses, such as asthma or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, including emphysema and chronic bronchitis, stress can worsen breathing difficulties. Research suggests that sudden, severe stress, such as the loss of a loved one, may trigger asthma attacks. Additionally, stress related fast breathing, known as hyperventilation, can provoke panic attacks in those who are susceptible. Learning relaxation techniques, controlled breathing, and cognitive behavioral coping strategies with the help of a psychologist can be effective in managing these stress related respiratory symptoms. The cardiovascular system is made up of the heart and blood vessels, which work together to deliver oxygen and nutrients to the body's organs. These two components also play a key role in how the body reacts to stress. Short term or sudden stress, such as rushing to meet a deadline, being caught in traffic, or narrowly avoiding an accident, causes the heart to beat faster and contract more forcefully. Stress hormones like adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol trigger these changes. At the same time, blood vessels supply the heart, and large muscles widen, allowing more blood to flow to these areas and raising blood pressure. This reaction is known as the fight or flight response. Once the stressful event ends, the body gradually returns to its normal resting state. Long-lasting or chronic stress, however, can negatively affect the heart and blood vessels over time. Continuous elevations in heart rate, blood pressure, and stress hormone levels place strain on the cardiovascular system and may increase the risk of conditions such as high blood pressure, heart attack, and stroke. Frequent episodes of acute stress or ongoing chronic stress may also promote inflammation within the circulatory system, particularly in the coronary arteries, which is believed to be one way stress contributes to heart attacks. Stress responses can also influence cholesterol levels. The impact of stress on heart disease risk differs in women depending on hormonal status. In premenopausal women, estrogen helps blood vessels function more effectively during stress, offering some protection against heart disease. After menopause, declining estrogen levels reduce this protective effect, increasing vulnerability to stress-related cardiovascular problems. When an individual interprets a situation as difficult, dangerous, or beyond their control, the brain activates a chain reaction known as the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal HPA axis. This system is the main regulator of the endocrine response to stress and leads to an increased release of steroid hormones called glucocorticoids, including cortisol, commonly known as the stress hormone. The HPA axis, during stress, the hypothalamus, a group of nuclei that links the nervous and endocrine systems, signals the pituitary gland to release a hormone. This hormone then stimulates the adrenal glands, which sit on top of the kidneys, to produce more cortisol. Cortisol helps raise available energy by triggering the release of glucose and fatty acids from the liver. Under normal conditions, cortisol levels fluctuate throughout the day, rising in the morning upon waking and gradually decreasing as the day progresses to support daily energy needs. In stressful situations, elevated cortisol levels supply the extra energy needed to cope with intense or prolonged challenges. Stress and health. Glucocorticoids such as cortisol play a key role in controlling immune function and limiting inflammation. This response is beneficial during short-term stress or injury, and immune activity may increase. However, long-term stress can disrupt communication between the immune system and the HPA axis. Over time, this disruption has been associated with the development of various physical and mental health conditions, including chronic fatigue, metabolic diseases like diabetes and obesity, depression, and immune system disorders. Gastrointestinal system. The gastrointestinal tract contains hundreds of millions of neurons that can operate somewhat independently while constantly communicating with the brain. This connection explains sensations like butterflies in the stomach. Stress can disrupt this brain-gut interaction, making pain, bloating, and other digestive discomforts more noticeable. The gut is also home to vast communities of bacteria that affect both digestive health and brain function, influencing mood, emotions, and thinking. Stress is linked to changes in gut bacteria, which can in turn affect emotional well-being. As a result, the gut and brain have a powerful two-way relationship. Stress experienced early in life can alter nervous system development and the body's stress response, increasing the risk of digestive disorders or dysfunction later on. Esophagus. During periods of stress, people may eat significantly more or less than usual. Changes in diet, along with increased use of alcohol or tobacco, can lead to heartburn or acid reflux. Stress and fatigue can also intensify existing heartburn symptoms. In rare cases, severe stress may trigger spasms in the esophagus, which can resemble the chest pain of a heart attack. Nervous system. The nervous system is made up of several parts, including the central nervous system, which consists of the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, which includes the autonomic and somatic nervous systems. The autonomic nervous system plays a key role in the body's physical response to stress. It is divided into the sympathetic nervous system, SNS, and the parasympathetic nervous system, PNS. During stressful situations, the SNS activates the well-known fight or flight response, redirecting the body's energy toward confronting a threat or escaping from danger. When activated, the SNS signals the adrenal glands to release stress hormones such as adrenaline, epinephrine, and cortisol. Along with direct nerve actions, these hormones cause the heart rate and breathing rate to rise, blood vessels in the arms and legs to widen, digestive activity to shift, and blood glucose levels to increase, supplying the body with quick energy to manage the emergency. The SNS response occurs rapidly to prepare the body for short-term or acute stress. After the threat has passed, the body typically returns to a calm, balanced state. This recovery is guided by the PNS, which generally produces effects opposite to those of the SNS. However, excessive activation of the PNS can also contribute to stress-related problems, such as airway narrowing in asthma or excessive widening of blood vessels that may reduce effective circulation. Both branches of the autonomic nervous system closely interact with the immune system, influencing how the body responds to stress. The central nervous system is especially important in initiating stress responses, as it controls autonomic activity and interprets situations as threatening or safe. Long-term or chronic stress places continuous demands on the body. Ongoing activation of the autonomic nervous system leads to cumulative strain, not so much by damaging the nervous system itself, but by causing prolonged stress-related effects on other body systems over time. Male reproductive system. The male reproductive system is closely regulated by the nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system promotes relaxation, while the sympathetic nervous system is responsible for sexual arousal. Within male physiology, the autonomic nervous system, often linked to the fight or flight response, stimulates testosterone production and activates sympathetic pathways that support arousal. When the body experiences stress, it releases cortisol, a hormone produced by the adrenal glands. Cortisol plays an essential role in regulating blood pressure and supporting normal function of several systems, including the cardiovascular, circulatory, and male reproductive systems. However, excessive cortisol levels can disrupt the normal biochemical processes required for healthy male reproductive function. Sexual desire. Long-term or chronic stress can interfere with testosterone production, leading to reduced sexual desire or libido. In some cases, it may also contribute to erectile dysfunction or impotence. Reproduction. Prolonged stress can negatively affect sperm production and development, making conception more difficult for couples. Studies show that men who experienced multiple stressful life events within a year tend to have reduced sperm motility, movement, and a lower proportion of sperm with normal size and shape compared to men who reported little or no stress. Diseases of the reproductive system. Stress can weaken immune function, increasing susceptibility to infections. In males, infections of the testes, prostate, or urethra may interfere with normal reproductive processes. Female reproductive system. Menstruation. Stress can influence menstrual patterns in adolescent girls and adult women. High stress levels are linked to missed or irregular periods, increased menstrual pain, and changes in cycle length. Sexual desire. Women often balance multiple responsibilities throughout life, including family, work, finances, and caregiving. Stress fatigue. Emotional strain and distraction can reduce sexual desire, especially during periods of chronic illness. Depression, relationship conflict, caregiving demands, or work-related pressures. Pregnancy. Stress can significantly affect reproductive health and pregnancy outcomes. It may reduce a woman's ability to conceive, impact pregnancy health, and complicate postpartum adjustment. Depression is one of the most common complications during pregnancy and after childbirth. High stress increases the risk of anxiety and depression, which can affect fetal development, child growth, and early bonding between mother and baby. Premenstrual syndrome, PMS. Stress can intensify premenstrual symptoms and make them harder to manage. Common symptoms include cramps, bloating, fluid retention, irritability, low mood, and emotional fluctuations. At the same time, these symptoms can themselves be a source of stress. Menopause. As women approach menopause, hormone levels fluctuate significantly, often leading to anxiety, mood changes, and emotional discomfort. Menopause can, therefore, act as a stressor on its own. Physical symptoms such as hot flashes may be difficult to manage, and emotional distress can worsen their intensity and frequency, particularly in women who experience higher levels of anxiety. Diseases of the reproductive system. High stress levels can worsen symptoms of reproductive conditions, such as polycystic ovarian syndrome or herpes simplex virus. Additionally, the diagnosis and treatment of reproductive cancers can be highly stressful, highlighting the need for emotional support and comprehensive care. Building and maintaining strong social support systems. Participating in regular physical activity. Ensuring sufficient, quality sleep each night. These practices offer significant benefits for both physical and mental health and serve as essential foundations of a healthy lifestyle. For those dealing with intense or long-term stress, seeking guidance from a licensed psychologist can be beneficial. A mental health professional can help identify personal stressors and develop effective coping strategies to support overall well-being.